Hey guys, what is up? Chris here with Cohesive Friendship Unit, just me today, and today we are going to be reviewing Red Matter for VR. I am particularly reviewing the Oculus Quest version of the game, but I can talk about how I would imagine other versions might pan out. And before we get into all this, we have plenty of VR content on this channel. Oculus Quest versus Oculus Rift S, a recent Lone Echo review. Feel free to check out any of that and consider subscribing to get more VR content as well as all the other content we do on the channel. If you found this helpful, please throw us a like. I want to start with the story for Red Matter because that and the visuals are kind of the drawing factors in to get people into this game. It's a narrative-driven game. And the one good thing I want to say about this story is it has really good environmental storytelling. There's a lot there if you want to dig deep enough. If you want to explore every nook and cranny, I mean, you could play this game and draw out your own personal diagrams of how the characters interact and who's in love with who and how where the tensions are lying and how situations have come about to create the situation that you find yourself in Red Matter when you're taking the headset off. And that can actually really be a thing that video games do better than other things because you're capable of exploring an environment, and especially shining in VR, this idea of environmental storytelling. And I think that's really kind of the highlight of Red Matter. The main story itself, I found to be relatively meh, basically. It's a 3 hour long story where you play as a character called Epsilon, who is an agent infiltrating a faux Russian, I mean they're Russian, base on Mars to uncover and acquire some valuable data. That's the initial drive. And I don't know, it's a bummer because the story and the visuals really drive the game, and the core story just didn't pull me in like the environmental storytelling in the game itself. And I talk about how the visuals really drive this game. This was supposed to be, and I guess technically is, a visual tour de force on the Quest. Uh, and they are technically nice looking. It does look good on the Quest, but at what cost, I would ask. I personally experienced a decent amount of performance hits to the point where I would say it's not really up to par for virtual reality performance if you want to limit motion sickness. There was quite a few hiccups and hitches during my playtime. And there were inconsistencies in object behavior. Not everything had physics applied to it. If you had a paper holder, for instance, and you pulled the paper holder out from under the papers will just float in midair. And things can still look like a blurry mess. That there's just really low resolution textures and really low resolution images used all throughout the game. So I guess I would ask, was it worth it? Was it worth the performance hits? Was it worth the extended loading sequences? Was it worth all that to get a game that, sure, it looks fine, but I think you could have gotten the same atmosphere and mood and visual storytelling across with a simpler art style. And it is a video game after all, so let's talk about the gameplay. Well, it is a puzzle solving game. I mean, you're exploring and getting clues and solving puzzles. And the variety of puzzles are all solved in different ways that never really outstay or overstay their welcome, and there's plenty of hints to help you get to your end goal. You work through multiple environments using different tools, including a translator, which you will be using quite a bit. And the puzzles are good, but I would argue that other VR games can excel over Red Matter, and there is a bit of gameplay hiccup. We talked about the performance hiccups, but I would say there's some gameplay hiccups as well. It's extremely awkward to handle Epsilon. The free locomotion is just really weirdly inconsistent. You seem to randomly slow down as you approach walls. You change your speed with no real knowledge of when it's happening. Sometimes you clip through stairs instead of going up them. And your hand controls are also awkward. You're essentially using your VR hands to control these robotic arms, which doesn't work as well as had you just been using your hands, in my personal experience. And all this just makes the game feel not that great to play. Once you start piling on the performance hits and you start piling on the locomotion inconsistencies, there is a faux teleport locomotion where you essentially hover to a destination. I didn't find that to be particularly good either. So, in conclusion, Red Matter looks good on the Quest, but that all comes at a cost. Mediocre story, performance issues, and poor controls, coupled with a short runtime and high price tag, make the game hard to recommend to everyone. However, if you are into narrative-driven puzzle solvers, this is not a bad game, but I personally found it underwhelming. And that's going to be it for today. Let me know down below how you feel about Red Matter, and I will catch you guys next time.